Are you feeling anxious? Hi guys, it's JT here, and I want to talk to you about one thing that helped me get out of situations where I was feeling anxious. So essentially suffering from anxiety, and it might not be of a really serious level, but it was still a form of anxiety. I just want to make one thing clear. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical practitioner, and this is what I'm sharing here with you today is just something that's helped me, and maybe it will be able to help you by listening to this. So anxiety affects so many people around the world. There's hundreds of millions of people affected by anxiety every single day. That's just the people that are recorded. That doesn't take into account the low levels of anxiety that affect us and hold us back and cause us fear. There's so many types of anxiety. For example, some of the common ones are stress, worry. These are things caused from work, from school, from financial pressures, from social pressures, fear of fitting in, missing out. So many different types of things that can cause us anxiety. About myself, I feel anxiety pretty much every single day. Things that I feel anxiety for the same examples: financial pressures, stresses, worries at workplace. If I'm going into a social atmosphere, what are you wearing? Is it the same kind of stuff? Is it right? Will people judge me? These are loads of types of things that I was experiencing. And what I felt I was doing, and this is how I categorized it for myself, how I felt what I was doing is I was always worrying about the future or the past. For example, with the past, I was worrying about whether, for example, in a social environment, if I did something in the past, will I be judged in the social environment? I was always worrying about the future. So work, if I did something today, would that affect my future career later on? If I didn't act upon something now, would it affect me financially in the future? These are just all kinds of things that I was worrying about, which essentially is a form of anxiety. And here is how I overcame this. And this is what I do now, today. I've been doing it for a good few years, and it works for me. Again, I just want to say, I'm not a medical practitioner, I'm not a doctor. This is not me giving advice. This is just me sharing a tool with you for something that has worked for me, and maybe it will work for you. So what I did in these situations, whenever I found myself stressed, worried, feeling anxious about the future or the past, I took a moment to focus on now. I took a moment to breathe, slow everything right down, take it back to basics. Can I control the future? No, I cannot predict the future. Can I control what I did in my past today? No, that's done. That's in the past. So I slowed everything right down, breathed and focused on what can I do right now to make a difference, to make a positive impact on my life right now in this moment. And I found that was such a powerful tool. Whenever I was feeling anxious, whenever I was worried about something, I did that. For example, with the work situation, if I knew I had a big presentation coming up, or there's a big deadline, there's a big project, would I worry about how I could control the future? No, I was thinking, well, what can I do right now? How can I lead my life? How can I lead my team? How can I lead an environment that I'm in right now so that we can have the best possible outcome in the future? Those are the kinds of things that I did, and they really, really helped me. Like I said, I've been doing them for a few years now, and it really works. So the tool I want to share with you is going back to basics. Slow everything right down and focus on what you can do right now in this situation. So I'm going to throw for examples out there. If you're worried about a social environment where you're thinking, will people judge me for what I am wearing? Well, what can you do right now in this situation? You cannot control whether people are going to judge you or not. What you can control is picking something to wear that makes you happy and that you feel comfortable in. Financial pressures. I know for certain, definitely earlier in my career, when I was worried about, am I going to earn enough money in the future to fund the lifestyle that I want? Well, what can I do right now? And that was, well, I can create a plan to get to the point where for my business and my career, I earn X amount to be able to fund that lifestyle. And that is what I did. Back in school, this is years ago now, this is over 10 years ago, but back in school, I was worried about fitting into social groups. Well, what could I do right now? So if you're in a school environment, what could you do right now to fit into a social group? Could you just go and speak to someone? This is what I used to think. Well, maybe I speak to someone. Maybe I go and talk to someone in that social group. If they don't like me, okay, fine. Maybe I just move on. Do I focus on that person? Maybe I just move on. And these are the kinds of things that I did. And I found myself fitting into a social group. And some of those friends I've known those people since I was 12, 13 years old. And some of them are some of my best friends today. And I'm still friends with them. And that's just me sharing some examples of how I use this tool for myself and how it really, really worked for me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and like I said, it's not advice, but maybe you can take something away from this tool. And if you like what you've heard today, hit the subscribe button here and help me share this message. Thank you very much for listening. This is JT signing out.